Happy Monday, beautiful souls, wherever you are on this phenomenal planet. Yes, regardless of what is happening in the world, this world is still phenomenal. Thank you for joining me on Shift Your Thinking, where we transform our inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience for 13 minutes of our day. I may go over. I trust it's okay. If you've got to move on with your day, of course, you can come back and hashtag replay. Let me know that you're tuning back in on demand. My name's Lisa Gillett. I'm your host and also creator of Ready Set Real Estate, which airs on Wednesday. So join us there. But Shift Your Thinking is more for your weekly pick me up, my weekly pick me up, get us in the motion. And we are continuing from our reading of Dean Del Sesto's Shift Your Thinking for Success. We are now on what episode are we on? You might have to see me keep doing this. It's because my computer was acting funky just now. Ooh. I'm calling this segment, Are You Done Complaining? Are you done complaining? However, before we jump into today's segment, let's go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths. Ooh, I know I need it. I was in the office yesterday. It was a Sunday. I did have a meeting. I met with a client. So I do half days Friday and half days on Sunday. Has been my compromise with myself about working. I just love what I do. And I get into my creative space and do different things. But anyways, so I locked myself out of the office yesterday. And fortunately, I was able to get back in, figure it out. All right, let's take a couple deep breaths and then we'll jump into Dean Del Sesto's book. All right, join me. Breathe in and out. One more. Breathe in and out. Last one. Breathe in and out. Woo-ha. Yee-haw. Woo-ha. Adjust my camera just a tad bit. There we go. All right. We are in this section. Last week, did you find last week helpful? I know I did. About that brand experience. What brand are you creating? Remember, when you are on, press one lets me know you're here. Press two lets me know you shared it. Let one lets me know you're here. Two let me know you shared it. But if you were on last week and we talked about what brand experiencing you are creating and how to meet with a new client, and I'm hearing the same thing. So I'm on top of my stuff. Top of my I'm on top. So that's great. That's great. Okay. So we are in chapter 7 of this reading, and he says, success will never be success if the unquenchable quest for more becomes more important than gratefulness for what you have. Ooh, we're going to be talking about gratitude and gratefulness. I like it, being grateful. He says there's something valuable missing from this world. Agree? Yeah, all the time. In fact, he says that say about 80% of all people are doing life with little or none of it. 15% are walking around with a moderate amount, and 5% have a fairly healthy supply of it. We're talking about gratitude, or excuse me, grateful. He says that valuable thing is gratefulness. So hashtag down in the chat below, gratefulness, hashtag gratefulness. He says for some reason, it eludes us with great fervor, yet it's available to us in a never ending supply, found out in our choice to simply be grateful for what we have. Excuse me. He says, although you might feel the presence of others' discontentment, like a bit of irritating humidity, it's not always obvious that gratefulness is missing from people. You may have to look closely and have a conversation to experience the depth of this truth. This is why I call this segment, Are You Done Complaining? Are you done complaining? Instead of redirecting that negative ninny energy to focusing on something more positive. Let's continue. He says, but some provocative questions like asking what is missing from someone's life, or what bothers them, or how they feel about work or world conditions will lead you to see that gratefulness is missing and has been replaced with discontentment. Yeah, there's tons of things you can be unhappy about and dissatisfied about and complain about. But I'm telling you, this thing called peace and happiness is an inner job. He says there's no shortage of negative thoughts, opinions, or attachments about what is not working for people, what they disdain, don't have, or don't like. He says just a magnifying glass to find a speck of gratitude for what they have. If you want to prove the theory, he says in the midst of their rant conversation, just ask. Just ask. Ask them what they are grateful for. What are they grateful for? By the time their emotions snap back to a baseline from the previous dump, you'll find there's unsettledness about the question. What do you mean grateful? I'm not even done complaining. He says, I'm not even done complaining. Let me see. I'm having click this here. He says, I'm not even done complaining. Hold on. Let's make sure our LinkedIn crew is over there. We're good to go. Yeah. Looks like LinkedIn is good over there. LinkedIn's good over there. So he says, I'm not even, people will say, if you ask them, what are you grateful for? And people say, grateful, not even done complaining about half the things, right? So sure, you can say, I've been cooped up and locked up for 2 years. I've gained weight. I've been able to do anything or go anywhere. But, there's still so much to be grateful for. So much. Let's continue. Perhaps at the end of this segment, you'll find it. He says the challenge for people to consider what they are thankful for is often a shocker because it's a question rarely asked and a topic that gets lost in the chronic complaining to our culture today. He says we see the lack of gratefulness in the public, the media, movies, and on TV. But if we're honest about it, the most pronounced place we see in our own hearts. He says living in the absence of gratitude offers little in the way of upside or value to the resonance and persona of our brand. Back to that brand. See, we're talking to mompreneurs, entrepreneurs, poppreneurs, lady boss, he boss, she boss. And it's interesting because I had that moment yesterday. I had such a great meeting. And why was it great was because I was able to connect with a client and her older sons. And it is just a reminder about, for me, it was a reflection of how far I've come in this business and operating from purpose and intention. I lead with education. I lead so that people are informed. They are informed in order to make an intelligent decision about what they're doing. Once I share that information, the onus is on them, right? I don't get to decide for people. So I'm thinking as I reflected when I completed the meeting and I was signing off, I just had this moment of gratitude to continue to do what I've been called to do. So just a segue to what we're talking about, but still on topic. He says a universal truth is that nothing negative can coexist in the same place as gratefulness. Try that. Try to see if you can be negative at the same time and have this heart of gratitude or being grateful. He says whether sporadic or chronic, the subtle nature of discontentment will always benefit from an interruption. If you haven't done so already, or even you have, go visit a children's cancer ward. Take a mission trip to developing country. Visit a person or simply Google chronic conditions or deformities people live with and see what you find. Right? When I had this moment this morning and I said, let's take a deep breath and let's breathe in, to be able to slow down and take a breath. While we've experienced a pandemic and people had a tremendous trouble breathing, right? It's almost, when you look at it in relation to the I can't breathe movement, and then we had an entire global pandemic that literally could not breathe. And so you've got to be thankful for being able to take breath on your own. He says, I generally don't like to usher people into reality like this, but it is a healing on a number of levels if you're willing to invest in some discomfort. When you realize it's my family and I, we are from Belize, and so I visited earlier this year, and it really puts perspective. I mean, I had such a great trip, but it really wakes you up to the realities of the conditions of which people are experiencing across this world. Like he said, travel to a developing country and realize the conditions in which people live with your own family, your extension of family, right? He says, it will bring a powerful realization and begin the process of reconnecting you to gratitude in many ways. What is one thing that you can think about that you are grateful for? He says, I'm grateful for my bankruptcy. It taught me more about business than all of my education combined, and I call it my bankruptcy. Anyone can sign on to that or agree? Yeah, been there, broke, burnt, busted, beaten down, sued. I've been there, and I've been grateful for those experiences, because then I realized in all of those things that I was losing, as I felt that I was working so hard for, in those material losses, I was grateful that I still had the energy to show up and push forward, show up every day. And it at that time, that was good enough. And then to get past not just showing up, but producing. He says the hard truth is that ungratefulness is a form of self focus that just doesn't work for anyone. And to be moderately or consistently in a state of ungratefulness will weld unhappiness onto your brand and attitude, regardless of what you achieve, acquire, or attain. So while you're caught up about being on, why people don't do business with you or why they're not connecting with your services and being a negative ninny about that, be careful, because what you give thought to, you birth in reality, right? What you give thought to, you attract. It's not a secret. There's no secret about that. Think positive things. For me, I have my affirmations and my truths that the clients I connect with, the people and the clients I connect with, value me. They value my services. They happily pay for my services. I wouldn't want to work with anyone who's not happy about working with me. He says, because gratefulness is a choice we get to make, we can bring just about anything in our life into a grateful paradigm. I like that. Focus on your grateful paradigm. He says we can even be thankful for adversity, challenges, and problems. Absolutely. I know for a fact those trials, tribulations, ups and downs, those challenges, obstacles will stretch you. They will stretch the mind to an existence that it doesn't go back. Right? Once you learn something, once you experience something, it is a new cell connection. It's a new synaptic connection in your brain. Doesn't go away. He says, consider how much you've grown through the difficulties in your life. Yes, nod your head, press a one down below. For those of you who've experienced those difficulties, we're not there. I don't think any of us are an exception to that. He says, and how without them, you would not have developed into who you are, right? I am definitely more relatable because of my experiences. I know that to be true. He says, the question is, the next time something bad happens in your life, will you be grateful when it's over, or have some form of gratefulness at the onset for who you will become through the adversity? So this week, your call to action is focus on gratefulness. Think about one thing that you're grateful for. And I want to ask you, right? First, when's the last time someone asked you, what are you grateful for? And then two, identify what that is. And see, as we continue to do journaling, and I haven't journaled in a while, I've been doing some other projects. I haven't journaled in a while, but let's think about those things that we can be grateful for every single day. I am grateful that you're connecting with me on Shift Your Thinking, Ready Set Real Estate. However, you connect with me, albeit in person, via text, via email, via social media, on all social media platforms at LA Super Agent. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. I want to say I love you, love you, love you. Have a powerful and productive week. We'll see you next week on another episode of Shift Your Thinking. Bye.